Hello and welcome to the Silver Screen Show, where we talk everything about films and movies and cinema. Glad to have you here today. We are talking about 4 great films that's come out recently. Well,
3 good films.
Come on.
That really annoyed me.
Some people spent a lot of money doing these films, so let's give them some credit.
Make a good film with the money they put in.
we've got Game Night, Red Sparrow, Tomb Raider, and Annihilation.
It's a couple of weeks, so we need to cram a lot into that.
Yes, we did miss 3 weeks.
We've even left some out as well.
I know you guys have missed us a lot, so we have a big roster of films. And without any further ado, shall we get started with Game Night? All of us have watched it.
I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched it.
So you can take the lead here.
Yeah, you can take the lead.
Okay, I'll take the lead. So, well, I don't know what it's about, so you guys can take the lead. I mean, all I know is it's got, Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman in it.
Yes, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, there's like a game night, but stuff goes wrong.
Yes,
you want to sum up the storyline then?
Well, Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman meet themselves at a game night.
Yeah.
Fall in love because they're so competitive with each other.
Okay.
And every now and then they host a game night at their house where they definitely want to win.
Yeah, so they'll marry, settle down, and every week with the mates, they come down and have a weekly game night.
And this time they get invited to their brother's house. His brother is a bit showy and wants to show that I can also participate.
He's like a Wolf of Wall Street kind of guy.
Yeah,
basically.
very much. Yeah. And the game they start playing is sort of like a real life game where someone gets kidnapped. You
are tired.
They got kidnapped and then in the past tense kidnapped. So kidnapped.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't know English well enough.
Tense.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm terrible.
So basically the brother comes over and organizes a murder mystery. So that's the murder mystery night basically.
Yeah.
So
you have to participate in a real life murder mystery game. So someone gets fake kidnapped, you have to find where they are based on clues. And then it unfolds.
It gets sinister, basically.
Yeah, it gets a bit too real.
It did look a little bit sinister.
Yeah.
So what were your good points about it?
I'll start. The movie was really funny. I thought it was genuinely funny.
I really came up with my
Jason
expectations to be
without doubt, Jason Bateman is one of the funniest guys on movie in present day. Yeah, I don't know how he got so funny. He was like a nobody like a few days back, and then suddenly I can't remember where it was I first saw him, and I'm like, this guy knows how to do
Arrested
humor.
Development.
That's where it was. Yeah, that Arrested Development.
And I love that TV show.
Yeah, he's just so funny.
He's so like sort of like deadpan, and I think that's why he comes off so funny anyway.
And he just pulls it off so well.
Exactly.
Anyway, Rachel McAdams also does a good job. She plays a bit more very naive, funny kind of person.
Yeah, she's okay in comedy.
Yeah, they work well. The leading two, they have a chemistry. They
do
both
very
have
well.
enthusiasm, which works
very
really
good-looking people, and
it's Hollywood.
You have to in a film. You have to.
Yeah, I've missed Rachel McAdams. She doesn't do as many as she did before, so it was good seeing her. Anyway, enough fangirling there.
Fanboying over Rachel McAdams.
I didn't want to be sexist, so
tell me your favourite movie is Mean Girls. Abby, what are your good points about it?
You know, I think it's I went in there with not very much expectation. For if I like it, I like it. If not, whatever. But I came out really happy. I really enjoyed it. It was great. Yeah. I think all the jokes are hilarious. I think all the cast. So you got 3 couples all together. You got the main couple, then you got 2 other supporting couples essentially, and all of the characters have like their own time to shine. So they all have their own moment to do whatever their shtick is. Yeah. So they all get to have a bit of the spotlight, which is great. There's a lot of wit in it. There's jokes like Cyberdyne references. Like I'm like, oh my day, that's like I've not heard Cyberdyne in such a long time.
Exactly.
There's a joke about glass tables. There's a long-running joke about a certain celebrity who just gets better and better as the plot develops. It just gets funnier. One other thing is Jesse Clements, who plays Gary, who's like the creepy neighbor. He's absolutely amazing. Every time he showed up, he killed it, I think. Yeah. He looks like a budget Matt Damon, I'm sorry, but that's what
very much.
He looks like this guy looks like Matt Damon, but isn't. But he's in Breaking Bad as well. I think he's one of...
No way, was he?
What was his name? Yeah, because we called him Meth Damon. That was a joke online. He was like another meth dealer, and people called him Meth Damon online. But he plays like something like awkwardly recently divorced kind of guy, and he's hilarious. And every time he shows up, everyone's cracking up.
Yeah, really.
And surprisingly, the cinematography is great. Like they use this effect where they zoom in from the top and they come closer. It looks like it's a game piece, but it's actually...
what he means is, when you zoom in from the top and everything is blurred, everything looks like a game, like from Sims.
It's called tilt shift photography, actually. Yeah. I've actually Googled it. I'm like, wow, because it looks like it's like CGI, and they get close and it becomes
everything looks small, so you feel like you're watching a game, and that's the pun because you're watching it.
It was like a board game from Zoom
from a board game perspective, and they're going into the game night.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it was a cool thing.
Yeah, I thought that must be like they just CGI, but no, it's real. It's actually real like photo skill that they have camera work. They'll be like, okay, yes. Surprisingly good
but
for
if I'm saying going to the bad things now, so I think those were pretty strong good points, especially if you're into comedy. This is a film to watch.
It sounds like a bit of a like comedy thriller crossover.
Very much a comedy thriller. The one thing I didn't like about the film, which goes kind of hand in hand with what Abu was saying, was that they focus a bit too much on the past and the storylines of each of the characters. Okay. So even when they're in a like a really tense situation, they have to talk it out to like resolve their family problems, something of that sort. If you see what I'm saying. You remember Star Trek? There was a scene like that where they were like going into
which Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Oh, it's the one where Uhura starts arguing with about their boyfriend problem. That was
exactly that kind of thing. They're like going into war and they're in the plane. They're being shot at by other people and they want to argue about couples argument. Exactly, couples argument.
Uhura and Spock.
It's a typical Hollywood. Oh, you need to have character development, so force it in there, even if it doesn't fit the purpose. That kind of a thing. So that's what I thought didn't work.
I also think they had way too many plot twists. They tried to be a bit too smart. There was like plot twist after plot twist. I'm like, one big plot twist.
Let's not spoil. Yeah.
But there's several fake outs.
A bit too much of plot twist.
Like, whereas in the Hangover movie, it's pretty similar to Hangover. Has like a one spin at the end, which reveals everything. Here, it's like a bit too many. There's like 3 or 4. Yeah. I think you're being too smart for a comedy film. Just don't try me that smart.
Just do comedy well. Exactly. That's enough. There was some. I love the face camera shots they did. Yeah, I mean, Jason Bateman.
The cinematography is amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So at the start of the film and at the end of the film, they do like face shots of the characters. It's just so. It sounds very simple, but it sets the scene and it's just a cool cinematography, basically.
One of the bugbear, they revealed too much in the trailer. Luckily, I didn't watch the trailer. I just watched it.
I haven't really seen the
trailer. But I watched the trailer after, like, all the punchlines are in it. Yeah. Like, every line, even like, they don't even do half the joke, they do the entire joke. I'm thinking...
That's a really common thing, though, that like with all films at the moment. Like, this is why I don't watch like all the Marvel's trailers as well, because they just reveal way too much.
So they reveal all the, like, but for a comedy, though, you want to keep the punchlines. Yeah. They reveal every single good line. I think that's just... Obviously, I know trailers are there to sell the film.
But there's so many films that I go to see at the moment, and you're just like, all of the funny bits are in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it.
Luckily, I didn't see the trailer. If I saw the trailer beforehand, I would have spoiled half the film for me, because I would be expecting those scenes. But that's just a small bit, and I think that's just a trend. But
if I'm to say, if you can give your verdict, is it a watch? Do you watch? Definitely. Don't watch?
It's a winner, man. Game night.
Watch in the theatre?
I would say so. I think
you're so punny.
I know. It's what I get paid for here. I don't get paid. But no, I love the movie, and I would definitely recommend people to check it out. If you love a comedy film, and love all the memes and stuff that go around nowadays, you'll love it, man.
It's very, very recent in terms of its humor. Yeah. Like very contemporary pop culture references.
Very current, essentially.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I would also say it's a good film to watch. Yeah. Maybe watch it until, wait until it comes out in Blu-ray or like Netflix. Watch it.
Watch it, but only now.
I don't think it's so worth it that you need to go to cinema to spend your money. Unless you're really rich, if you're a millionaire, go for it anyway.
£6.
Or if you've got an unlimited pass, but definitely.
Or if you have unlimited pass.
Definitely, it's worth a watch.
Good comedy thriller. Good comedy thriller. Okay. All right, on to our next show, our next film, Red Sparrow, directed by Francis Lawrence. It has Jennifer Lawrence in it. Oh, Francis Lawrence directing Jennifer Lawrence. I see something.
It's Hunger Games.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Francis Lawrence and Lawrence Part. Yeah, so this guy directed Hunger Games, I Am Legend film. He's a veteran in the industry. He knows how to direct.
I'm still having arguments about I Am Legend, if it makes sense.
Why don't let's not go there. Alenya, you've watched it as well, so why don't you give a start on what you think of this film?
Okay, so it starts off with Jennifer Lawrence. She is a ballet dancer, and there is an accident, and she can't dance anymore. And she gets picked up by her uncle, who works for the state in Russia. And they use her to get close to a diplomat of some sort. And I'm not going to give the whole story away, but she gets introduced to the whole kind of secret agent spy stuff there. She goes into a kind of training school for what they call Red Sparrows, who are agents of the state that use their bodies to,
for the greater good.
Information extraction.
Information extraction, yeah.
Basically, Jennifer Lawrence gives it another name in the film, but which will not really see it, but she has
I don't want to get too deep into that. I mean, it's a massive part of the film. I think if you're not into a lot of nudity and sex on screen, then I'd definitely say right now this movie isn't for you.
Oh, it's 18 plus, is it?
It's a 15. Surprisingly,
it's 15,
I'm like, you can get away with a lot,
and there is proper nudity.
There is,
there is a lot of nudity and
surprisingly a lot of gore as well.
There is a lot of blood.
There's
in
like
it
people's
as well,
bones exposed and stuff.
Alright.
I mean, you don't really know at certain points of the films whether she's like for Russia or against Russia and wants to work with the Americans or doesn't want to work with the Americans. So I think that's probably.
Wait, is this a Cold War movie?
No, this is very current.
It's very current, which kind of goes with the current
Yeah.
state of the world right now.
Right.
But I think
Okay, so
it's interesting in that respect. There are like sort of plot twists and things like that, which I wasn't really expecting. So I think that was one good thing about it.
it's a spy thriller then, is it?
It's your typical East versus West espionage, you know, who's working for who can turn
thriller,
who.
action.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
But it focuses more on the Red Sparrows and how they extract the information rather than like spies and espionage and like the whole kind of James Bond Bourne side of it. It's a very different side to it.
I mean, mostly of my comments are in red. Ironically, I mean, there is a lot of.
I will start with the good things. I will start with the good things.
I will start with good things. It's a wonderfully shot movie. It's artistic, looks very nice. The ballet scenes opening,
yes, that was beautiful.
Opening 10 minutes are gorgeous. What else do I have here?
So opening 10 minutes gorgeous and then it goes downhill.
It looks great. Lawrence is actually pretty good in this, but I think Joel Edgerton, as always, he's awesome in wherever he's in. And like he's in Bright, it was the only good thing about Bright, to be honest. And here, his character is also very.
You watched The Gift?
Very engaging.
The film, The Gift.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you have to watch that. It's really, really good. It's got Jason Bateman as well.
Yeah.
It's a really good film. That's the first time I saw him, and I thought he was fabulous, fantastic. He was really good in it.
But Joel Edgerton is in Warrior as well.
He's always
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
I saw him in that after that.
Warrior's great.
Yeah.
Unlike this, but yeah.
All right, go on. So
that's one thing.
Any other good things?
Opening 10 minutes, 15 minutes are really good. I mean, as a spy movie, it's okay. I mean. He's got the good versus bad. It's got mole hunts. It's got who's the real bad guy. Who's the rat? Who's the rat? Who's gonna turn who? He's got shady meetings. Breaking into things. But apart from, I mean,
how's the storyline? Is it good?
I don't know. I mean, it's 2.5 hours long. Firstly, it is way too long.
So long. I was sitting there, and it's one of the films where when you get a little bit bored and you go, I could really do with pulling my phone out and just having a play on it. Right now.
That's not a good thing.
Exactly. If I think that in a film, I'm then thinking. No, this isn't really good enough
lost
to
the
hold
audience.
my attention for the entire
I mean, you would expect some action scenes in it because it's kind of marketed like Atomic Blonde, but where Atomic Blonde was far better, the action scenes were really intense. You could feel it. Where here, there's a few action scenes, but there's not enough to keep it going. Right. It's very tame throughout. And you're looking for a bit of a spike just to keep you engaged, but it doesn't happen, and it's like.
Well, not everyone is Charlize Theron, are they?
Yeah, I mean, but even then, there's not really much to keep you engaged. Like it's very like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which is very cerebral.
You have to really, really pay attention.
I think this is what it's trying to be, but it just doesn't work. I just didn't really.
Yeah, because whereas like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, it had those little bits that kept you hung up on it. Whereas this one, it just kind of dropped you quite a lot. You were just kind of dipping in and out of attention.
Was it a bit derivative? So you know where the ending was going, and
I didn't exactly know where the ending was going to go, which is basically my one good thing to say about it. There were plot twists, and you didn't quite expect it, but it is very much like sex espionage. There's not a lot of creeping around and opening locks. She's good at sex and she's so good at opening locks, and that's about it. And she opens like 2 locks throughout the 2.5 minutes.
But even then,
2.5 hours.
I mean, I would say she's quite a useless spy. She doesn't use any guns or weapons. She's not trained in that.
You don't have to be a
but if you can put them in the field as a spy, you get some basic combat.
Even
training.
hand to hand.
But she's useless in that. She opens a lock. That's as much espionage as she does.
Probably a real life spy watching us today, and he's thinking, Abu knows nothing about spy work. All I do is sit on a computer.
But it's just I mean, if you're gonna go through the spy route, but there's very little of that stuff in it, and also the training she does is quite crude and severe. Right. But even then, she doesn't really put that into much use. Like they properly break her mentally. Like this is the really intense stuff you're gonna do. But when she does a mission, it's just pretty casual. It's like there was no need to put her through that level of. There's no payoff in that sense.
Maybe in the sequel there will.
There won't be a sequel.
I don't think
Anyway, so if you were to summarize, verdict, shall we watch it? Watch it, don't watch it?
I think watch it. Like, it's not
Just
terrible, but
For me, I'll
watch it for Jennifer Lawrence naked.
Yeah, if you're a 15-year-old, you can't watch anything else because everything requires you to be 18, and you want to watch
I would
Jennifer
say another
Lawrence.
good thing is not only Joel Edgerton, but also Jason Isaacs, who he plays one of the Russian sort of generals. And I thought he was pretty good. He's got a small part, but I really like him in everything that he does. He always has a small
That's
part.
another good part. I forgot to mention the guy who plays the uncle. He's amazing. I've got his name, Matthias Snowhart or something. Must be Belgian.
Yes.
He was great actually. I love it. Every time he was on the screen, you could feel his intensity.
Right.
He was a proper like authoritative figure, and I think that's another great standout part.
But if you're on a verdict,
I'll just say it's like a 5 out of 10. It's just so average. It's like I couldn't be bothered.
so don't watch it.
Yeah.
You don't go to the theater to watch it.
If you got like if you got unlimited pass, you know you got some time to kill, go ahead and check it out. But I wouldn't say go and spend 10.
I think it depends what you're into. If you like the whole spy, if you like the plot twists and the twists and turns and not really knowing where the story's going to go, like I like what happened with the uncle. I thought that was really well played out. Go and see it. Is I'd say it's slightly above average. But if it's not really your spy thing isn't your thing, you like a bit more action and stuff, then probably not.
I think that's a good verdict. Shall we move on to our next film?
Next
Next one is Tomb Raider. It's just come out. I haven't had a chance to go and watch it. Directed by Roar Uthaug.
Yeah,
some Norwegian director I've never really seen.
I didn't find anything on his Wikipedia page of notice.
Seems like it's his first film in mainstream. So kudos to him. It's, I mean, for taking on a big role,
project.
big film, big project. So you guys have both watched it.
Yeah, sorry, last night.
Abu, do you want to give us the honors of a quick overview?
So I don't think this needs much, to be honest, introduction.
What is Tomb Raider?
This is what is this?
Never heard
Lara
of it
Croft, who is she? But this is importantly based off the recent Tomb Raider games, which came out in like 2012, I think. So
Definitive edition.
yeah, so this is like a reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise. This isn't like the old ones back in the 2000s, the cheesy slow motion, all that. So this
Angelina
is more,
Jolie.
yeah, the Angelina Jolie ones. This is more of like a raw, weak Lara and how she became who she was. So this film follows the plot of the first game, which follows. You played the game, right?
Yeah, I have
It doesn't
played the game.
follow.
It doesn't work. It's
It doesn't.
loosely. It's pretty. They take
It's
the,
super.
Well, at least the character is based
the
on
character,
that.
the location, the people. So it's loosely based off the first game, and he follows her adventure. She becomes from just a millennial pretty much into Lara Croft. The two guns, all that stuff. So
Alright, so she's a snowflake and how she turns into a...
she's not really a snowflake, but she's just like a person, like a typical like young 20-year-old nowadays.
Right,
being a Korean, and how she becomes who she becomes down the road. So yeah,
Okay.
that's it pretty much.
So what are the good points?
Good points. I think for a video game adaptation, which are usually garbage, this has done pretty well. So from that level, it's paid, the game respect. It's portrayed the characters relatively well. It's not embarrassing. It's not like House of the Dead. What was it? Alone in the Dark, House of the Dead, garbage, movies like that. From that level, it's great. Like, it's not, if you're a Tomb Raider fan, you'll love it. And the fact it's done it well. For over to Alenya, who looks like she's got something to say.
Yeah, go on, Alenya. Start with the good points first,
I'd
please.
say loosely based.
Yeah, it's very loose, yeah.
Is an overstatement. The only similarity is Lara, Yamatai, and Himiko.
Himiko.
That's it. And Matthias. But Matthias is a completely different character in this. So in the game, this is the game run. In the game, she's on her own research mission, and she's got this massive ship, also called the Endurance, full of people who are helping her to find Yamatai and find Himiko, the Japanese
Goddess
queen,
of death
the
or
goddess of
something.
death,
Oh, so it still does go into the supernatural, does it?
Yeah, we'll leave that.
We'll leave
for
that.
for
Yeah,
the film.
we won't talk about that. That kind of gives stuff away. But so they get to the island, and the island is surrounded by this storm, and they crash onto the island. But what they find there is not Trinity. In the game, they find Father Matthias and a massive kind of cult following, and they want to raise Himiko because they think she is this massive goddess, and they take Lara's friend Sam and try and use her as one of a handmaiden sacrifice. So in that respect, it's very different in terms of the storyline, and I think personally, they should have stayed a bit more with the game because I thought that would have been quite cool. Like,
how is the new story though?
The new story is interesting. I'm not sure I liked everything with the dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say the daddy issues storyline was a bit like, oh, come on, we're not gonna go down the daddy issues route again. But I would say it does pay off in the end. In the end, it does go down a route which I thought, okay, that's what they want to go with that. Fair enough. But at the beginning, I was a bit skeptical. Think there's so many stories you could choose to do this because in the game, she doesn't go there through the daddy issues route, does she?
No, because there are mentions of her dad, but she doesn't really talk about it that much. And she basically says, you know, this is kind of what my dad did, so I do it now because I have all of his money. Yeah. But the really good parts of it, I thought, was how similar the action sequences were to the game.
That's what I think was the selling point of this movie.
There's parts in the game where you're going to be running through a tunnel and it's caving in on you, and you have to like press X at the right time, and you've got to move to the left at the right time, and you've got to jump at exactly the point that the rock beneath you falls away, and that is exactly how she played it. They played it in the movie, and I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that was fantastic, and the fact that she's like sneaking around the camp with a bow and arrow. I've got to say, I loved that whole part of the game because I was sitting there like, headshot, and that was really fun.
I haven't watched the film, but from the trailers, Alicia Vikander looks the part.
She's shredded, man, for this.
Absolutely on point. Alicia does.
And her character takes a beating, which is what happens in the game. So it's good they stuck to that.
You get beaten the hell out.
Yeah, so it's good the fact, like, because in the original 2 movies, she's pretty much like a superhero. Like, she just doesn't get hurt, doesn't feel any emotion. Here, she's just, like I said, she's raw. She's just beginning. Like, she's never killed a person before, and she's going into situations. So, like, she's getting battered, getting spiked through the...
you still have that.
That's the other thing I like, because in the game, there's a bit where you, like, fall, and you get this spike through your side, and she's, like, screaming in agony in the game, and then she does that in the movie as well.
She does grunt a lot and scream a lot in this film.
There are a lot of sound effects coming out of her.
She's constantly just, like...
She's always like, ah!
There's a lot of like,
it was really, but I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was
definitely, especially game adaptations are just so terribly done, aren't they? So that's a good sign. Good sign.
The villain is amazing. I love the villain.
The villain is amazing. That is saying something.
He's just every time he came to, like, I hate this guy so much. I wish he dies. Like,
really?
That's like true, he's so creepy, and he just looks so like. He looks like Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5. He reminded me of Trevor.
He does.
I'm like, I really hate this guy. I hope he gets it in the end. But I think
that sounds amazing. Like everything you're saying
from like Django Justified. And
I mean, I got a lot of good stuff.
That makes me want to see the film.
I would say if you're a fan of gaming and you want to see it done properly, definitely check it out.
But even if you're not a fan of gaming and you just want to see,
actually that these new Tomb Raiders, you should definitely.
The games are sublime. I love the games. And luckily they put the ice pick back. The ice pick
I know. Yes. As soon as someone put the ice pick out, I was like, yes.
If you play the game, you know the ice pick is legendary.
The ice pick and the bow and arrow. That's all I wanted. But I kind of wish my one negative point was I think they should have kind of stuck closer to the video game.
But do you think that's only because you've played the game? So there will be lots of people who haven't played the game.
True, maybe, but. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Alenya before. I think they probably made the right move going away from the video game route, because
sometimes it's very difficult.
The video game route is firstly the game's a lot more in depth, and you get it's like 20, 30 hours.
It's very immersive.
Immersive, yes. But whereas here, it's say 190, 120 minutes. You need to kind of get to the chase. So I kind of think, in that sense, it would have been a bit weird in the movie to suddenly become the supernatural stuff it becomes in the game. I think this one they played the safer route, fair enough, which I think. Because it's the first film in a franchise, they're not really too sure if they just stuck it safe, and it didn't really bother me too much. Because I thought, how will they handle the stuff that happens in the game? It's pretty weird. Like, for a movie, you'd be like, where did that stuff come from? Because in the game, you read up on the history of the island,
of course,
all the literature, all the journals, all that stuff. So you kind of expect, where it's going. Whereas here,
in the film, they don't have to do 100%.
Oh, it's true.
You don't have to be like me, who's a completionist.
Exactly.
Even then, from what you both have said, it sounds like the verdict is definitely go watch it. Definitely a scene to watch. One of the better versions of a game adaptation.
The thing is, though, the critical reviews have been pretty mixed.
It's like
Tomatoes is 50%. Audience scores a bit
50%.
That's slap bang in the middle.
Really bad. Yeah.
The audience scores like 78
in the box office behind Black Panther.
Well, nothing to stop Black Panther.
That's a bit too close to Justice League, isn't
it? I mean, there are some. I mean, it's not totally perfect. I do want to mention a few flaws.
Go on quickly. We don't have.
She goes like what she's here is she's not the privileged woman she is in the original, where she owns a mansion. Here, she wants to go away and become her own person. So she's like a courier for Uber or whatever. Deliveroo,
food
any of those,
delivery.
yeah. But she goes from this to this like lady who's just so brave. Like she'll jump off a ship, she'll land on an aeroplane, she'll do whatever. All this. So it's like kind of like, how did she go from that to suddenly becoming this person overnight?
It's one of those things where like you,
just like a bit,
you have it in you the entire
time,
and it just takes an event for you to bring it out.
But
survival instinct.
Things I would prefer to see just a bit of her beforehand, just like at least you're like exploring something, being out in the wild, just so you can tell. Oh, she's got this knack.
I think that's what the scenes in London were about, because
the bike
she's in
chase
the bike
is a bit
club and
cheesy.
she's the bike. Yeah, the bike chase is a bit cheesy, but I think it gives you that little bit of insight into who she can be.
But I think they should have put just drop in a bit more of her background of how she just becomes so adaptive on the island, because they should have been bow work. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But the puzzle work, like apparently she's great at puzzles, but you never see her.
But like they're also hinting at the fact that she's some like hyper intelligent girl, and why is she a bike courier?
Yeah,
right.
So I would prefer to see a bit
Makes
of
sense.
that. But
Makes sense. To wrap it up, it sounds like a film definitely to watch. I'll definitely go watch it. Yeah. And so I'll leave it at that.
Like I said, it's getting a mixed reviews critically, so I don't really know what's happening there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Most of the time, critics get it wrong.
Personally, as a fan of gaming and stuff, I enjoyed it, and I thought this is it's done well, and I think hopefully it gets a sequel, because I think there's enough there.
I think there's a massive sequel bait at the end.
Oh yeah.
I did think that
there's like 3 sequel baits.
That little bit at the end with the guns, I thought was a bit cheesy, and I didn't really like it.
It felt a bit like the original.
It was a bit
films.
forced, but overall, I think it's definitely worth going to see. And in my mind, when she's like hanging on to the plane, I have in my head, I'd like superimposed the X with the circle going around it, going press X.
I think that was I think they really did interpret the game quite well, especially the survival stuff in the winter.
All right, good to know. Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. Next film is Annihilation by Alex Garland. This is the same guy who did. What other films did he do? He's quite well known. I just can't remember now.
Right, I'll fill up the time.
28 days later.
28 days later.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. Yes, that's the reason why I know him.
Great Vikander film.
Yes, and he loves Vikander, and so this one he hasn't chosen Vikander. Instead, he's chosen Natalie Portman, but he has kept Oscar Isaac in. So both of them do a very good job. Alenya, you've watched the film.
Yes.
I think you both watched it.
I've watched it as well.
I haven't. So
you haven't.
I'll lead it from this side then. So I'm actually gonna watch it. It's been hyped a lot on Twitter actually.
Indeed,
I haven't got around to watching it. So this is apparently a massive sci-fi movie, which is apparently like mind-bending and really game-changing in a sense.
I'll give a quick overview.
Yeah.
So what happens is Earth has
been taken over.
Yeah, actually, I think we can spoil that, because that is the main premise.
There's something happening.
Yeah, because it shows in the trailers as well. So there is some kind of like something called a shimmer, some kind of event happening around the lighthouse.
Is it the trees?
No, I can't tell you that.
It's the happening, man. Something's happening. When you say something's happening, I just think of the happening.
Don't go down that road.
Please don't go there, please.
Okay, so there's something happening on Earth, and they got to investigate and find out.
Something happening at an area, not Earth. There's something happening in an area, and they've sent out army personnel in there, and they never come back. And so they send a team of scientists, one of whom had her husband go in and return.
All female.
Well, shouldn't matter, should it?
I think it
don't
should.
Be sexist.
I think it should, to be honest. You don't see many sci-fi films with all women in it, man. Let's be honest.
Well, I was trying to be 2018, but you were stuck in 1999.
No, it was because all of the teams that had gone in first were all men, so that's why they went.
I suppose that, and that is a strong, important point at the end of the film, without spoiling it. So. They sent an all-women team of scientists, but importantly, one of the women had her husband go in, and then he came back, and he's the only survivor from coming back from the shimmer. So, but he's very ill, and Natalie Portman wants to go back to see what's happening. Yes, yeah. And so, Alenya, I don't know if you want to start with the good points.
So firstly, this is on Netflix, just so people know.
So you can just literally, after we finish watching us, you can go and watch it on Netflix. But no, I thought it was really interesting. Whereas, Red Sparrow was saying it didn't really hold my attention. This definitely held my attention, and it is beautiful. It is so nice to look at, and it's really quite inventive as well, especially with, the animals that they have in the ship. There's like a merging of DNA, so things are like part plant, part people, and there's weird crocodiles and bears. Like the bear was, for me, one of the scariest things I've seen, because there's a bear that attacks people.
We shouldn't give it away.
I don't want to. I don't want to give it away.
Is it supposed to be like genuine horror?
Yeah, don't give it away. But there are some horror elements.
Just like just disturbing.
Yeah, there are some very creepy.
Actually, is the best.
That is a very good word.
It also was scary, just creep you out and stuff like that.
It did really creep me out, and it was a really, really scary scene with that. It was, I don't know why it just freaked me out.
It was just there.
That was pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Well, I think if I carry on with the good points of the film, like she mentioned cinematography, it is really, really good to look at. Not just Natalie Portman, but
the Netflix like cover pictures, like some psychedelic, hazy cast.
That is the shimmer.
The entire shimmer. Okay. That's the thing enveloping that lighthouse area.
Okay.
And that's really well done, but that's a small part of the thing. Yeah. Once you go through it, it's completely, you don't get to see that anymore. But it's that entire setting as well. They're in a very jungle, like forest area where they have overgrown grasses and beautiful flowers.
They're on the like west coast of America or something.
Somehow, yeah. Beautiful flowers, and the entire setting has a very eerie texture to it. I thought that really carried the motion of the film.
The plants of different species are all growing off the same stem and things like that.
So it's
very scientific.
Yeah, it's a very sciencey kind of sci-fi. Like it's proper
But it's not so sciencey that you cannot get into it. There are some small areas where Natalie Portman wants to show that she's smart, but it doesn't require.
Essentially, it's not going to be a movie where aliens jump out there and shooting them. It's more for like a down to earth kind of.
It's more like Arrival than it is like Armageddon. If you wanna compare. But then other good thing was I thought the sound score was really good, and it fit very well with that eerie culture.
Yeah, it makes you feel that little bit more uneasy.
On top of this bear, which I got to see now.
Yeah,
you have to see the bear.
Literally, if you want to go and watch it, and you will get what I mean when you see this bear. It's scary. Like not the first time you see it, the second time you see it. Freaks me out.
Yes, it is something to look out for. But this film also had some poor areas which I thought weren't as good.
So one question I want to say is in the States they released this at the cinemas. Here in Europe they decided to put it on Netflix. So there was this hoo-ha like, I would have liked to seen it on the big screen rather than on the next. So would you guys say they made a good choice putting it onto Netflix here, or would you have said, I would have preferred to see it in the cinema in that spectacle?
I don't think so. In my personal opinion, I don't think this is a film I would go to watch in the cinema. Okay. I think it's a good film, but not good enough to watch in the cinema.
I think I'd agree. I think it would look great on the big screen, but it's one of the things that doesn't quite reach out to enough people for it to make a good enough taking at the cinema. So it would look fantastic, but I just don't think it would reach that many people.
Fair enough. I think that's what worried them. That's why they kind of shifted it onto Netflix.
What I heard is people were saying it was too intelligent for a wide release.
Is it? I don't think so. No, it definitely isn't.
It's definitely not.
Right. It's definitely not.
So quickly,
but in the interest of time,
what did you guys like? What did you improve? What did you like?
Well, actually, I want to say one more bad thing. There's like the way that Natalie Portman gets brought into it, it's just like, so your husband went in and, this is literally all of the information we have on this top secret event that's happening. Oh, you want to go in as well? Yeah, just go. And there's no fighting her, there's no obstructions for her to get past. She literally just asks and she goes in. And that kind of annoyed me.
So she's like a scientist and it's like a military level, so she really shouldn't be just like,
She used to be in the military, she's not anymore.
No, she's civilian.
So she doesn't have any kind of military clearance. She was like kind of a grunt anyway when she was in the military.
And now she's
a professor.
Okay, yeah,
she's a civilian. And she just kind of asks and they're like, yeah, why not? Just go. You're probably going to die anyway, it's fine.
One less mouth to feed in this dystopic
Almost
future.
everyone knows it's a suicide mission because everyone who's gone out has
everyone has a backstory.
But I thought in terms of other bad things in the film, I also didn't like how the ending happened. I don't know if I'm being a bit controversial here.
In a sci-fi, the ending is pretty important.
Ending is very important. There are some good bits about the ending without spoiling.
I want to be simple, yay or nay?
Nay. Okay. The most of the build-up is good. There is a part of the ending that satisfies the need to understand what's happening, so it explains a lot of things. But then, ending was a bit too.
It didn't really resolve itself.
Okay.
I thought the entire film, all it went for, it came to nothing by the end.
Yeah.
So I feel like, why did I need to watch it? Was it life-changing? No. Was it really worth the time? Maybe not.
One last question is did they make a sequel on this, or is this going to be like a wrap-up?
No sequel.
So this is its own thing.
It's a film on its own.
Standard. Okay, fair enough.
I'd say it's a good Sunday evening flick.
Yeah.
They're not going to randomly bring it 10 years later, like a Cloverfield, and make another film saying, yeah, this is a
For the love of God, I hope not.
Annihilation paradox.
I would just want... I mean, they need to leave that on its own. Someone was saying that A Quiet Place was supposed to be related to the whole Cloverfield thing.
That looks great.
That looks great.
But that's next month.
That's another one.
So yeah, no, I think definitely watch it, but don't expect a sequel. That
Brilliant.
would be a bad thing.
I think that wraps the show quite well, neatly within our time frame.
Bang on time.
Thank you very much for coming to watch our show. Hope you join us in the next one. Until then, have a good time, and hope to see you later.
Bye. Bye now. It's so distracting, isn't it?